Hello everyone, this is GP here along with Gejo, and we are back. In the last video, we discussed what score leads to what kind of a percentile, and at the end of that video, we had also said we'll come back with a section-wise analysis as to how should you attempt each section and how should you boost your scores. Along with that, how should you analyze the section? Because after you have taken a paper, it is very critical to analyze what went right, what went wrong, what are the learnings and which you need to take forward, and what are the learning which should help you change your habit of taking the paper. So today we are going to talk about the QA section in this regard. Okay.
The idea is how to analyze your mock test. And before I start, I think GP, I want to say analysis needs to have a purpose.
Yes.
The purpose of analysis is to boost score. So otherwise, there is no point. There is and our entire purpose of the mock-at is to boost score. One thing I want to ask here, GP, is a lot of people look at the mock test that they take or the mock cats that they take as a reflection of their what do you say? Or as their chances
scores.
of reflection of that ultimate score, the chance of making it. Is that a right way to look at your mock test?
No, absolutely not. I always believe the purpose of a mock is to tell you where you stand today, is to tell you what are the mistakes you're committing, what are the things you need to do so that you can improve your scores. See, one of the things which we need to always remember is that many a times our behavior during the paper changes. Okay, and when we are taking a paper, we start behaving like some unnatural person. We want to attempt all questions, for example, which is a habit we carry from school, more from school, less from college. But schools, we have the habit of doing all questions. Out here, we know we don't have sufficient time, yet we want to do everything. Similarly, we don't want to be incorrect at all. Okay, and hence we not only solve a question many times, but we check and recheck the answer. So to me, these are behavioral changes which need to be incorporated in the way you take the paper. So first thing, when you're analyzing a paper or when you're looking at the purpose of the mock, first purpose is to identify where you are today. What is your where are you today? Second thing, what are the mistakes you committed so that you can stop doing them? Third thing, what are the things you did right so that you can continue doing them? So to me, these are the three broad areas. So if you focus on each of them, you will be able to improve your score. Now, when you say what mistakes are committed, what went well, this obviously will lead to a follow-up action as to, okay, this is what I did. How do I ensure in future I will not make these mistakes? The final purpose of the paper also is to identify gaps. Where is it I'm lacking in knowledge? Okay, where is it I'm lacking in the way I take a paper, and to cover up for them.
So in short, basically the mock test is a preparation tool.
It is a preparation tool.
It is nothing else other than a tool, a resources that is to help you boost your score. So ladies and gentlemen, this is what we'll do. We'll do 4 things. We will do a quick recap of the last discussion just to ensure that you and I are on the same page. And we'll also quickly talk about actual cat versus mock cat, because people have that question in terms of what percentile and people get confused. And then we'll get to how to analyze cat mocks to boost score. And in fact, we'll also give you a bonus 4 weeks action plan, especially from GP. So GP will start with a quick recap of the last discussion.
Yeah.
This is the video there. I will leave the link of the video in the description box. Please do watch it. There we discussed about every single section, overall section in terms of the score versus percentile, and then we gave a lot of input. This is a quick the snapshot about the QA section of CAT 2020. These are the percentile rank at various level, and this is the marks that is needed and the net number of questions. So to make our job easy, we'll focus on the net number of questions with the assumption that whichever question that you attempt, you will get it right. Okay. Yeah. So for instance, when we look at something like a
and Gejo, I'll add to that. When you look at when you attempt a question, you not only have to get it right, you are not supposed to attempt a question where the possibility of you getting it wrong is high. So
right.
so be clear that you will attempt what you know.
Yeah, so in that sense, we look at the 99th percentile, that is 15 questions net correct, and the 95th percentile is 10 question net correct, and we discuss this in detail. For example, there's 1 mark increase, 1 question increase is having a jump of 5 percentile here. So you have, and then that reduces here. I have one question increase is a 0.5 percentile increase, and if you are in the 70th percentile, if you have a 3 question increase, then you actually move to the 90th percentile. That's something that we discussed last time. So please check out the
Yeah.
video for more detail. And this is going to be useful today for our discussion, because at the end of the day, the boosting of score, or boosting of
Hmm.
percentile, has to be with respect to the number of questions you can get
Hmm.
correct.
Hmm.
Other thing about actual cat versus mock cat. So
Hmm.
GP, this is what the
Hmm.
data that I picked up. This is a cat 2020 data. So I
Right.
picked up a typical July August mock
Hmm.
test. So for example, if you look at the 70th percentile, this is 5, this is 7, this is 6, 80th percentile, this is 8.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
for example, if I look at the 97th percentile, this is 11, this is 14.
Hmm.
So what do you make of this? And students
See,
get confused here. So
yeah.
what is your take?
So, couple of things we need to be clear. One thing which many people come out with is the paper a reflection of cat or not, or the mock that is, or is it more difficult or easier? I'm saying forget about all those things; they are irrelevant. We need to look at who's taking mock at this point of time. Most of the people who are taking mocks at this point of the time are the people who started preparation for CAT, let's say in October to December last year. All those who are repeaters, which means they took CAT 2020, could not make it into an institute they desired, and hence they're planning to take CAT. Or in other words, this is a set of people who are reasonably well prepared. The others, people who started preparation in the last 2 to 3 months, are Gejo, to use your word, are visitors. They will take one mock, not take the next 3 mocks, then come again and take one mock. So they will keep going. That's a floating population. So at this point of time, either the people who are very well prepared who are taking the paper, or the others who are taking the paper are not only not well prepared, but also are the ones who are possibly still trying to grapple with the reality of the paper. For example, most of them would not even be clear about how they want to attempt the paper. This is a stage at which a lot of experimentation happens. Should I do verbal first? Should I do RC first? Which topic question should of quant should I attempt? Can I try out this kind of strategy for DILR? So this is a stage when experimentation happens, and hence percentiles frankly don't make a difference to me. I will start looking at percentiles sometime end of September. So the last 1.5 to 2 months, assuming CAT is end November, last Sunday of November, I'll say October and November when I need to look at percentiles, because by that time all students are reasonably well prepared, and that is the time your percentile will be a realistic reflection. That is not to say this is completely incorrect. All I'm saying is it is not going to be worthwhile for you to worry too much about percentiles at this point of time. Focus on percentiles in October. Till then, focus on improving the number of attempts which you have. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And even if you look at it, it's not as though there is a huge difference. This is 6 here, this is 8 currently, this is 7 here,
Yeah.
this is 9 here.
It's a
So,
plus one couple of
uh,
questions here or there.
so, so the other problem is that when you focus too much on percentile, please do
Hmm.
note that from 7 question in one paper you attempted 10, you got 10 question correct. That's a
Hmm.
jump of a 75th to 90th percentile. That is even true for the mock, or let's say even in the cat, you see that jump. So at this point in time, like what GP is saying, that let's not worry too much about your percentile rank. What we have to focus, ladies and gentlemen, how many questions are we attempting in the paper accurately, and how many marks are we getting? So if improvement in percentile merely means that an improvement in rank, that's what percentile is.
Hmm.
So you have, for you to improve your percentile, you have to improve your
Hmm.
marks, right? So
Hmm.
that's a simple thing. So at this point in time, a takeaway is that let's focus on marks. Actually, when we get into how to analyze cat mocks to boost your score, you will understand what understand the logic as to what we are saying. Okay, just I'm going to share some data, GP.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
Before I actually get there, let's let's assume that, GP, there is one student who got in the, let's say this is a in the test, this is what happened.
Right.
Let's say in the test that person
Hmm.
attempted got net 5 question correct, and
Okay.
this person has got a goal of getting to, let's say, GP 97 percentile. This is what the
Okay.
person wants to get,
Right.
and now the person is absolutely worried how to let's say, the target to be there. What
Right.
should the person do first?
Okay. Okay. The first thing for me is, as what I've said earlier also, uh, attempt the entire paper again. Okay. Uh, don't worry about time. Just go through all the questions. See how many questions are you able to solve without looking at the solution. Okay. Now this individual has done the hypothetical individual that you're talking about has done 5 questions in the paper. Has marked answers to 5 questions. Okay, and 13 marks or whatsoever. Now it is possible when he or she goes through the entire paper and looks at and looks at all the questions again without checking the solution, you might possibly be surprised that he or she can do 12 to 13 questions. Let's say hypothetically that person is able to do 8 questions. Okay,
And
that that
let me also give a name to this as his Aukat score.
yes, yes. So as far as the person is concerned, he was capable of attempting 8 questions, but did only 5 questions. Okay. So the first thing is, can you get back to the basic target which you were basic competence level, or this is what I would call, why were you not able to attempt these 8 questions which you knew? It is essentially because you did not spend time or you did not reach those questions and you probably wasted your time somewhere. So this gap between your current score, which is 13 marks, and your OCAD score of 23 marks, this gap is what we call the execution gap. That you have knowledge of attempting so many questions, but in the paper that knowledge you are not able to fully utilize. Okay, so OCAD score essentially means, are you able to utilize your knowledge for all the questions which are there in the paper, and any question for which you don't have knowledge, you are not attempting. Now, while I've taken a 8 number out here just for the sake of convenience, in reality, you'll find for most of the students, their OCAD is sufficient. And why I'm saying that? In CAT, if we just go back to where we started from, 15 questions typically give you 99 percentile. And most of the students, after the paper, will report that we are able to do, if not more, at least 12 to 13 questions. Many of them will say 16, 17 questions. The paper, it was only 5 or 6 questions. Okay. So most of the time, it is not a gap of the knowledge. If you can solve after the paper, let's say 15 or 16 questions, then you have sufficient knowledge to do well in the paper. It is your execution gap which is an issue. Okay. That you are messing up while attempting the paper.
Yeah, true. So basically, the
Hmm.
thing is that you have whatever be the fluctuation of your mock score, you rarely have fluctuation with your OCAD score. So this is what GP is
That's right.
talking about, execution gap. And this gap here is your competence gap. This is, let's say you have a target score,
Hmm.
whatever you had, and what GP is suggesting is that normally this is zero. Is what he's saying, GP. That
Normally this is negative. Normally this is
negative.
negative.
So
Because
maybe
most
out.
of the time most of the time I find students coming and telling me, but after the paper I was able to attempt 16 questions. Okay. So
So the first most important thing I think is GP for me to do the analysis. Therefore,
mm,
analysis is a word that is sounds. Basically, I'm trying to find out what my problem is and trying to address the problem. The
mm,
first step is I need to know the score. If I don't know the score, I'm doing no analysis, right?
yes. And this you get to know when you solve the paper again without checking the solution. So you got your score, great. Now if you go to the platform, the aspiration account again, and open the paper, it will not show you the answer till you click on that answer key button, right? So what you do is you solve all the questions again now and see how many questions you could have solved. Don't worry about the amount of time it takes. At least it will tell you how much knowledge you have. Okay.
So what you're saying, GP, is that let's assume that there is a 40 minutes test, right?
Mm-hmm.
During the test period, there are some question that person got correct, some question that
Right.
person did not got wrong, and some question did not attempt.
That's right.
When I'm redoing the test, I
Mm-hmm.
will probably realize that there are these some questions here which I could have got correct, right?
That's right.
And
Uh,
there are some question that is still wrong.
that is still wrong.
This is
Absolutely
like
right.
crazy. सोचा था औकात है नहीं types. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and इसमें some question did not attempt. It is
Which
correct, and some question that I still don't know.
that's right.
So इसमें से in QA there'll be highly unlikely there are any flukes. Okay,
Mm.
so I'm assuming that in VA maybe there'll be some flukes here, but
Mm-hmm.
therefore this particular score that I get is my
Forecast score.
OCA score, and
Absolutely
I-
right.
and this set of questions that I get is what my competence gap is.
Absolutely right.
And this gap that you have and this gap that you have in terms of the number of ticks and the extra piece of ticks that you got is my
Hmm.
execution gap, right? So
Absolutely
that's
right.
so which also means, GP, is that
Mm.
if I have to solve these questions once again, which means if I'm taking 40 minutes to do this, I'm
Mhm.
spending probably another 40 minutes here as well, right?
Possibly more than that. Possibly
Maybe
more than
more.
that,
Uh,
because
uh,
once you have done these questions, you'll
uh.
find there were 7, 8 questions which you could don't know how to solve. Now you'll go to the solutions, check the
Yeah.
question which you could not solve, and you might be surprised. Okay, okay, this is a trick which I was not aware of. This is a method I know. In future, I will be able to do it. Okay, so in these, after that you'll pick up these things also. Okay, yeah.
So,
So
which means,
overall, it will take me 40 minutes of the paper. Another I'll say another 60 to 70 minutes for doing this task.
yeah. So the whole idea of doing mock every single day, 2 days doesn't make any sense. So take a mock. You have to do this analysis. Then the learning starts. The starting point, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Yeah.
Jijo, just to, because what you said is extremely important, and many times I come across students who take a mock almost every day. Don't take more than 2 mocks a week. You take a paper on a given day. That day you'll not be able to do anything else. You take the paper, you spend time analyzing each of the 3 sections. A 2 hour paper will take at least 3 hours for analysis. 5 hours gone. Okay. And then the next couple of days you have to work on making, let's say, improving yourself on the gap areas. So the next mock you can take only on the 4th day. So day 1 you take a mock. The next mock, if you're taking any time before day 4, you are making a huge mistake. It's like saying, I want to check my temperature. How often will you use a thermometer? It's not you will take your temperature after every hour. Okay, you
Yeah.
check your temperature, and then only if things go wrong will you check up again. In the meanwhile, you will take medicine, you will change your diet, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, it's like that. No, so if let's say I want to look better, every day I
Yeah.
wake up in the morning and go look in the mirror and go back to sleep. Go look in the mirror, go back to sleep. It's not going to work. I think a lot of people attribute this quote to Albert Einstein. I don't know whether he said that.
Mm-hmm.
His insanity is doing
Mm.
the same thing the same way and expecting different results.
Different results. Absolutely right.
So now
Mm.
the question is, GP, there is an
Mhm.
execution gap. Why
Mhm.
does it exist? So the question
Mm.
is,
Mm.
what are the reasons
Mm.
for poor execution? And we are going to
Mm.
talk specifically with respect to the QA. I'm
Yeah.
going to show some data, GP, and
Mhm.
take your perspective on that. So there is
Mhm.
this student who
Yeah.
is a mock attempt. I picked this student in one of the mock tests.
Right.
Mark responses is 8 out of the
Right.
26 questions. Correct
Mhm.
response is 7. Made
Mhm.
one mistake in one. Net
Mhm.
score is 20. 20 in the
Mhm.
actual CAT would be what? 85 percentile?
85, yeah, around
Uh,
85%, because 90 is about
uh,
24,
uh.
24, 25. So this would be about 85 percentile.
In the mock it may be about 60 percentile, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's assume that
Mm.
it's mock. Okay, that is
Yeah.
this has got the topics of these are the question
Mhm.
numbers, all the topics, the score of the student, a lot of zeros, and
Mm.
the time that the person has spent. Now the uh,
Jijo, there's one issue I have. We
uh,
know the marked response and correct response and incorrect response. If we look at the table, we get another piece of information. There's large number of questions on which the student has spent time but not marked an answer. Question 51. 52 also I will take. Yeah. No,
52.
52, look at 55, 54. Okay. Yeah, 56. Okay.
Actually, in fact, I did this thing,
Look at
GP. Okay.
yeah, you have done this thing. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
basically,
so all I'm saying is these are also attempts. The fact is that question number 51 is an attempt. The only sane thing that the student has done is he or she has not marked an answer, so did not get a -1. Otherwise, 3 minutes 43 seconds is good enough to be an attempt. I would say if you have spent more than 40-45 seconds on a question at this point of time, it is an attempt. Why more than 40-45 seconds? Because typically to read a question, understand, especially if it's a long question, it will take 30-40 seconds to understand whether I should be doing it or not. There will be questions which will be able to identify in 10 seconds also. But on an average, I'll say 30-35 seconds is what you need on an average. In a specific question, it might go to 40-45 seconds. So any question in which you have spent more than 40-45 seconds and got a zero is also an attempt.
So let's count up.
Yeah.
Let's
So to me, this is 8 plus. So yeah, how many attempts are there? Let's look at that.
so let me just mark all this and to count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17.
And
So actually it is attempt is 17.
yes, attempt is 17. Out of those 17, the individual has marked answers to 8 questions. So on 9 questions, he or she has wasted time. And to me, this is the biggest execution gap in this paper. Now, in these 9 questions, I will say, being very, very optimistic, will still mean 20-22 minutes. It might be 25 to 27 minutes.
So let me actually show that thing to you, GP. Okay.
Hmm.
So what I've done is I picked up all the questions where he got marks.
Okay,
Okay,
correct
these were
answers.
correct
Hmm.
answers. And if I
Yeah.
look at the time that is spent, that is 16 minutes 35 seconds. Right. On
So
an average, about 2 minutes
about
per
two and a
second,
half minutes per question. Now,
which is good.
Jijo,
Uh,
there's a very good attempt. I will say if I look at just this part, the reason is if you look at CAT, 40 minutes. If you are doing question at the rate of 3 minutes per question, it is 13 questions. If you are doing at the rate of 2.5 minutes question, it will be 16 questions. So this individual is on the right track with respect to the correct answers. Where has he or she goofed up? It is attempting those questions which he should. Yeah, absolutely right. This is where the goof up has happened.
so
Now,
here, what he said that to get a
hmm,
score of 0,
hmm.
the time spent is 21 minutes.
And how many questions are these, Jijo? One, two.
This is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18. I think we could have done that from here only.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, Jijo, but there's something very more important out here. If you look at the question,
this
let me
one,
just give. Okay, yeah, wow, you have done that. Yes, to me,
uh,
this is the most important chart. To me, it is those top 5 red colored questions. These 6 questions, not 5, sorry, 6 questions. This is the reason why this individual has goofed up. It is quite possible when this student is going to look at questions which are yellow colored, right? He will find that there were 4-5 questions he could have solved easily but did not because did not spend time. And why did he or she did not spend time in these yellow colored questions? Because time was wasted on those red marks. So you wasted time somewhere. You don't have time to do those questions which you know. Okay. So that is the key thing which we need to work on.
so there are two kind of zeros.
Mhm.
This to me as an okay zero. Fine. I think still say
Yeah,
that. Uh,
yeah, Jijo, the
uh,
only thing I will say is on these 3 questions, okay, maybe he could have spent 15 seconds less. But this
yeah.
is fine. This I'll say
Uh,
a well left kind of a thing.
uh, all these are also very bad zeros. So
Yeah, because
because I did not even see those questions
yes. You see, one odd
practically.
question might be I don't know, I don't understand
Huh.
circles at all. I have left it. I'm still okay with that. But my point is about these 9 questions are the out of these 9 questions, it is quite possible the student will find 4-5 questions were doable. Okay. And
There's one more thing that I'm seeing here, GP. Okay,
Mhm,
for these
mhm.
particular students. Now I'm realizing it. All this seems to be arithmetic. Okay,
Yes, I'll
and
tell you why. I'll tell you why.
uh,
Typically, your preparation starts with arithmetic,
okay.
quant preparation,
Hmm.
percentages, ratio, proportion, time, and work. Now, because we have prepared for arithmetic, because I've studied that topic, I want to do every stupid question that comes my way. Without realizing that in arithmetic also there will be easy questions, there will be medium questions, there will be difficult questions. And this student most probably is at the level, is at the initial stages of preparation, maybe only has started preparing only in the last 2.5 months, and hence you see the question which he is list: circles, binomial, sequences, mensuration, inequalities. All these are topics which you will do in the second half of preparation. So, and but I'm saying anyone who's passed then will in these topics also find 3-4 doable questions. But for that, the critical thing is you should not be spending 5 minutes and leaving a question 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 44 seconds. This is criminal. 56, 51, 68, and 54. This is, and not even the other two. 1 minute, 43 seconds, 1 minute, 25 seconds. This is criminal. The paper has been messed up here itself. Jijo, can you go back to the previous slide again?
This one.
Yes.
Uh,
The one before this. Yeah.
uh,
Now, if you look at question 51 to 60, how much time has he taken? I'm
51
saying
to.
he.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm saying he, but I don't know whether it's a he or she. But let's see. Let's go
so
with the
let
he.
so let's count. This is about the
Four
kitna-
to four, 1, 5. Okay, let's look 5 and 3, 7. 5 and 3, 8. 8 and 5, 13. 13, okay. 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, 16 minutes till question 60, which means 9 questions, 60 minutes. Out of those 16 minutes, almost half the time has been taken by 2 questions.
2 marks.
Yeah, 2 marks. And half the time out of these 16 minutes has been taken by 2 questions. The first question, 3 minutes 43 seconds, and 2 minutes 44 seconds. There's no way he can or she can get a good score in this paper.
I think it was like
Oh,
he may
sorry, and
have
there's a
cleared.
five. No, no, sorry, Gejo, I missed out. There's a 5
Uh,
minute 12 seconds also. So 343. 343 is the first one. Question
uh,
51.
yeah,
Yeah, then you have somewhere in the middle 244. Question 54, 55. Yeah,
correct.
and 5 minute 12 seconds. Now look at this: 5, 3, 8, 8 to 10, 10, 11, almost 12 minutes gone out of 16 minutes. End of the
Well,
paper. You
uh,
don't need to go beyond question 60. So the first thing for this round would be possibly he is picking up questions purely because I've done the topic without realizing that even though I've done the topic, in this topic there can be easy questions, there can be medium questions, there can be difficult questions. Possibly some of these are difficult, or some of these questions this student is not comfortable with, and hence should not have been attempting them.
when you are actually taking the mock test, you have to behave in a fashion in which you are not going to waste time like this. You should still have a look at all these questions and see if you can actually
Absolutely.
do. But eventually, you got a zero, right?
Eventually
It
got a zero. See,
might as well.
Jijo, in the
Uh,
yeah, all I'm saying is, if you have not spent 30 seconds on the question, you are not doing justice to the question. Remember, we said in the first in one of our videos that you cannot afford to save time by reading the question fast. This is saving time in the wrong place. He would have saved time had he not attempted question 56. Question 56, 51, 68, had he not attempted the top four, 56, 51, 68, and 54. He would
mhm.
have saved about 15 minutes and rest of the paper would have been very good. Okay.
Right. So 30 minutes per question. We have got 26 questions, which means 13 minutes is gone in terms of reading the question and deciding.
Yes,
So,
30
so
seconds
there,
per question.
therefore, logically, GP, what you're saying is that you have to attempt all the question and make good decision with each of these questions. That's
Absolutely.
what I'm. Uh,
Absolutely. So the right approach is read the question, ask yourself, do I know how to solve this question? If the answer is yes, ask yourself the second question. How much time will it take me to solve? Okay. If it says within 3 minutes, you can solve it. For some people, it might be within 2 minutes also. But if it is by and large within 3 minutes, I can solve, you should do it. Okay. Okay. Supposing you say, no, I don't know how to solve, leave the question. Okay. If it says greater than 3 minutes, come back to it if you have in time in the end. Okay. It's a later item. I am
hmm.
only interested in the top number which you have written. I read the question, gave it 30 seconds, understood. Okay. And my answer is yes, I know how to solve. I know I can do it within 3 minutes, I will solve it. Anything else, I'll just keep leaving it.
So,
That art of leaving question is what has to be inculcated in most of the students. Yes, Jijo.
So the thing is that coming back to that question is in terms of defining what an attempt is. I think
Yeah.
that is important to look at an attempt. An
Mhm.
attempt is, in one sense, I am attempting, or attempting is not marked responses, right?
Yes.
That is something that you have to understand. So that is something that people miss. I only attempted 3 questions. No, you attempted 15. Okay, so here I
So
think the
attempt is
uh,
in terms of time. If you have spent substantial amount of time, I'm leaving the word substantial to be interpreted, but in my definition, if you have spent more than 45 seconds, it is definitely an attempt.
which means those kind of question I'm assuming can you solve the question? No, yet you tried solving it
No,
and
no,
spent
the
3 years.
Jijo,
Uh,
there's one more thing. Between
uh,
yes and no, there's a maybe. For
okay,
many students, there's a maybe. Maybe
okay.
means, and some I have probably seen this kind of a question some time ago, but I'm still not sure. There are questions which you see, if you go back to this, there are questions which you know definitely you can solve. There are questions you know you can't solve at all. But a large number of questions are maybe I can solve it if I spend time. It is there that time wastage happens.
Oh,
I
in
don't
fact,
know circles at all. I don't know circles at all. So I will
is
leave
that
the question. Hmm.
what
Okay,
you're
yes.
discussing? Ah,
Yes, I will say yes, we can look at this exactly. Uncomfortable is difficult. Something that I'm uncomfortable. I know I can't solve. I'm not. I don't have sufficient knowledge to solve it. Comfortable is something that I'm very comfortable. It is easy for me. Even if I'm sleeping and you wake me up, I'll still be able to solve it. That is comfortable or easy for me. It is the maybe part, which is in the middle. I will call it medium. Why are they medium? I can solve, but they take effort. I might be able to solve if I spend sufficient time. But how much is sufficient time? It could be 3 minutes, it could be 13 minutes. I don't know. So these are questions which look familiar and which are look doable. They are the tempting questions. And if you look at it, these are the questions which are the biggest source of time wastage. If
I
you
think this
check
is
out,
yeah, not dangerous, wala dangerous.
absolutely, the student we are talking about, look at his all his time wastage has been in arithmetic. Right? Those 5 questions or 6 questions were arithmetic questions, all of them. No? He's prepared
Correct.
for arithmetic. He's done arithmetic as the first topic and possibly saying that, okay, I can do it. I'm familiar. But being familiar is not good enough. Okay? It's not good enough to be familiar. You need to be thorough with it. Only then you attempt a question. You don't attempt a question. Okay, a paper is not a place where you experiment. If you know, you attempt. If you don't know, you leave it. If you are not sure, you leave it rather than attempting it.
So actually, when it comes to CAT, is about making decisions, right? And there are
Absolutely.
this decision is very easy. I don't know. I leave. I am comfortable. I'll attempt. I think the
Yes.
problem at the end of the day happens with this part. I think this is where
Yes.
the
Yeah.
entire
She
problem
loves
happens.
me or she loves me not. I don't know. I'm guessing. And when I'm
Yeah.
guessing, I will only end up with a slap on my face. And that is what happens to most of the students.
Therefore, are you saying that if there are 26 questions,
Hmm.
that not really sure should be zero? That what you're saying? So it
Yes,
should be here and huh?
yes. These to my mind, if a student after the paper just fills up the question number in each of these boxes, okay, for is the uncomfortable, comfortable, and not sure,
Hmm.
you will find out of 26, possibly comfortable for at this stage for many students is going to be comfortable will be, let's say, 6, 7.
Okay.
Uncomfortable will be another 6, 7. But the bulk will be about 10 to 12 will be in the middle.
All right.
Okay. So let's say
It'll
6,
be
6,
14.
12, and 14. Okay. Okay. Now the important thing is these 14 either need to move to the left or to the right. I don't want anything which is uncomfortable, which is because it is neither here nor which is not which I'm not sure of. The
The
middle column, yeah, the
sorry,
middle column or the medium ones. These are questions which are the most dangerous questions. This is where time wastage happens. So either a question should be comfortable for me or uncomfortable for me. For me, this middle column has to be zero.
so I think the better journey to get them here, right? So what should students do to get this fellow to that side?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So Gejo, the right place to move from medium, the right methodology to move from medium to easy or from not sure to comfortable is revision. You are uncomfortable, you're not sure about it because you have not practiced it sufficiently. And even if you have done 50 such questions, you did those questions and forgot about them. So you need to revise. If you go back to school, most of the schools do pre-boards 2 to 3 times, class 10th and 12th. They make you do the complete syllabus for the pre-boards. Then for the second pre-boards, you do the entire syllabus again. Then for the board exam, you do the entire syllabus again. You are doing the same stupid thing 3 times. That is why you are able to max your scores in your board exams. The
So
same process has to be here. You have to revise questions which you are not sure of.
so when you say revise, are you suggesting that people go back to the old mocks and redo the same question? Is that what you're
Absolutely.
suggesting?
Yes, exactly. Okay, so to my mind, after you do the paper again, you should classify every question as either easy, medium, difficult, or as comfortable, not sure, and uncomfortable. Whatever classification go, I don't care. Okay, but these are the 3 columns. Now you need to ask yourself, um, how do we, which are these questions which I am not sure of? What is common to them? You'll always find the pattern. For example, for this student, we were able to see the pattern was arithmetic. And within arithmetic, if we go a little deeper, I'm sure we'll find these were the difficult question of arithmetic. Okay. So you identify the pattern, and the first step is tell yourself I am not going to attempt these question types. I'm not saying don't attempt time, speed, distance. I'm saying the kind of time, speed, distance question where you get stuck, those are the ones you should not be attempting.
So
Most of the
basically,
times, yeah.
so yeah, actually saying that you're putting this is not broad topic, your specific topic you're putting, right? So, don't
I'm saying
not putting
question type. I am saying I'm
question type.
going a step beyond saying question type. For example, finding the remainder by cyclicity is one question type, right? Finding the remainder by using Euler's theorem is another question type. Euler's quotient or whatever that is. That's another question type. So don't tell me remainder. Finding the remainder or the last digit is one question type. Finding last two digits to me is another question type. So all I want the students to be clear about is what works for you, what is your strength, where is it you are going to make mistakes, and accordingly start leaving questions where there's a likelihood of making a mistake.
I have one more thing, GP. So if let's say there is one topic currently uncomfortable, let's say that is algebra or something, the
Yeah.
journey the student is going to take is nobody likely some cases will go from here to here. I'm sure. Okay.
Unlikely, very,
Uh,
very unlikely.
but there'll be still something. I'm currently people assume that these are tough, but most of the cases is going to take this journey right from
That's
here to
right.
here.
That's right. And Gejo, if we go back to what you had done earlier, from difficult to medium is your competence or knowledge gap.
Hmm.
If we just go back, you don't have knowledge, you have not studied the topic of set theory, you don't know how to handle set theory questions, hence it's a competence gap. Once you have studied and you have become somewhat okay with it, now it is not sure, and now to go from medium to easy, it's a revision, is your test taking gap, and this gets filled up by revision. So
What you're
difficult. So just to close, difficult to
uh,
medium, beef up on your knowledge. You need to improve on the knowledge of those specific concepts and topics and sub question types. Medium to easy, it is revision which will take you there.
So what you're actually telling me is that if I've let's say taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mock tests, there
Right.
should be certain question that I should be doing today from every single mock.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So what you do is somewhere I got distracted and I missed that part. After the paper, you have done this categorization. Now the not sure questions are the ones where you have wasted time. First thing is you have identified a pattern so that you don't attempt them. In the future papers till you're thorough with it. Second, these are the questions you need to revise at least once a week, because these are questions which you can solve. It is not you are completely uncomfortable with it. These are doable for you, but you don't have sufficient practice and revision. So if you start looking at these questions again and again and again, you will start remembering the method, you will start understanding how it is to be solved, and you will be able to solve it faster in the paper. So revision, what it does is it improves on your accuracy, because to me that you spend 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 4 minutes did not solve it is an accuracy issue also. Secondly, it will increase your speed. So both your accuracy and speed go up because of revision, and that is what you need to do once a week. Pull out all questions from all the old mocks that you have taken. Bookmark. I hope you have bookmarked them. If you have not, you need to start that process now. Bookmark those questions and start revising them on a regular basis. Okay.
So basically, if I talk about what you've said so far, one is that I need to understand my Awqat score. Okay, that is a
Yes.
starting point. Okay,
That's right.
and that helps me understand. Second, I also need to do my attempt analysis. That's what he's saying. How many
That's
questions
right.
did you really attempt out of
Yes.
this more than 45-second question? And how many of the questions you got zero? How many from the negative one? How many are there 3 marks? And
Yes.
3 marks that you got. And the third thing that you should do is that this difficult, medium, easy, or this difficult, medium, easy is your assessment of your difficult, medium,
Yes,
easy. Right?
and it should not be confused with the red marks or those color coding we have. So what is easy for others might be difficult for me, or vice versa. So you say this is easy for me, it is difficult for everyone else in the world, does not matter.
Comfortable, and this is what he said. This is
Not
not
sure.
sure.
Not sure. Maybe.
So therefore, your improvement in score is going to happen in 3 things. That's what I'm hearing, GP. Number 1 is to have a good behavior. Okay. Behave
That's
like
the right word.
a
That's the right word. Your behavior during test taking is very, very important.
Huh.
Mm.
So that is behavior. I think that those things that we said, 21 minutes that you are spending and making a disciplined behavior. Second is the journey that you can take from medium to easy. This is the easiest thing to do, right?
This-
You know the stuff, you can do it. The second thing is the medium to easy. That is done through revision. And
yes,
the third is your journey from difficult to getting medium. That is picking up
knowledge.
new knowledge.
New concepts,
Uh,
pick up your funda book, go through the concept videos, start doing the question at the end of the funda book. That is what will take you to the next stage.
I have this feeling, GP, if people
Hmm.
does 1 and 2, they will get to 95 percentile.
No, they'll get to 99.5 percentile plus. I'm very sure about that because, as I said, most of the time when I ask students after the paper, after mock, if you solve the paper again, how many questions were you able to attempt? The answers typically is in excess of 15. Many students come back 18 to 20, I can do, but after the paper, in the paper, I do only 6. Okay, so that's
Uh,
a very common thing. And Dijo, was one more thing that
uh,
0, -1, and 3, which you have written. The
yeah.
interesting one analysis which students could do for themselves. Most of the time when they are getting -1, it is in questions which they would have normally got right, but they got and they classify it as silly mistake, which is a kind of a strange term, but I'll go with that term that people classify it as that I got 3 silly mistakes. Why were those mistakes? Why did you have those silly mistakes? Those silly mistakes were there because I rushed through the question. The question said, asked for which of the following is not true. I missed out the word not. I just made a calculation mistake. Now these mistakes happen because you have wasted so much time in other questions that when you come across a question which you can solve, you just get excited and want to do it very fast and you trip. That's the issue out there. So silly mistakes also vanish if you stop doing those stupid questions which you are not sure of.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, this is a simple story. So GP, 4 weeks action plan. Is there anything that so? I don't know when
Okay.
this video is going to be live. I'm guessing it's going to be live probably on 27th July.
Okay.
We are recording this on Sunday. But you tell me 4 weeks plan.
Okay. Okay. Let's start from 27 July.
Okay.
Let me take a specific case and let me say most of the students have taken 4 to 5 mocks. Let's take 5 mocks.
Let's
Whether
take
they
four
are
more.
4 mocks, whether they are master series or proctored or whatever kind of mocks, they have taken 4 mocks. And let me assume the students have taken also, let's say, 3 section tests. Okay. Okay. What I want the student to do is on Tuesday, uh, 27th July, attempt paper 1. Go take paper 1, do all questions of mock of this quant, classify them as easy, medium, difficult, and try to identify what are those medium questions, what is common to them, and so on and so forth. Okay. And solve those questions again. Don't worry about the very easy ones or the difficult ones, which mean the ones you are very comfortable or uncomfortable, don't worry about them. The medium or the in-between ones are the ones which you need to look at. On Wednesday, pick up another paper. Take
You're
paper
saying
2.
that, but wouldn't it take too much time, or do you think that won't take much time?
I
14
don't know
questions.
if you are only preparing or if you're in college, you will probably be able to do 2 papers on a given day. Okay. But
14
let's
questions.
just
I think you're saying 14 questions, right? 14 questions would be medium, no? Other
yeah,
assessment. So
yeah,
if I let's say take about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, that's about what? 31. I can
yeah.
1 hour, 2 hours can do. Yes,
Okay,
that's fine. Yeah.
then let's just erase this, Chijo. Day
Uh,
one on Tuesday, let's take paper 1 and paper 2.
uh,
Okay, paper 1 and paper 2, and identify medium. Solve both the papers of quant completely. Identify medium questions. Day 2, this is
hmm,
28th July.
hmm.
Revise the medium question of paper 1 and paper 2,
Okay.
and do paper 3 and paper 4. The same task for paper 3 and paper 4 to be done on Wednesday. Okay, so what that happens is 4 papers you have done and you have identified which are the questions out there. On Thursday, what you should do is revise all the questions of paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 4, which are medium in nature. Paper 1 to paper 4, medium
Hmm.
questions, revise all of them. Okay, and you have 3 section tests, pick up 1 section test. Do it. Same thing, which means I did solve on the entire paper, identify ED, medium, difficult, and so on and so forth. Friday, you have already revised paper 1, paper 2 3 times. You can leave paper 1, paper 2 now, right? So
Hmm.
you revise paper 3, paper 4, and and section 1, and attempt section 2 and section 3. Do the same thing for section test 2 and section test 3. Okay. And continue with this process. Now, whenever you take a paper, whether it is a mock CAT or the section test or an old CAT paper, you have to do this task. Now, all these papers, these 7 papers you have done, you have bookmarked those questions which are in the middle. Start revising them once a week, which means once a week, let's say Thursday, hypothetically, fix up. I will only do revision of old questions. Okay. So every Thursday, just sit and revise. You could do it on Saturday, you could do it on Monday, just based on your personal schedule, work it out. Okay. Now, supposing you have taken 10 mocks, you have been very diligent, you have taken 10 mocks. So the only thing that will happen is this process will continue for a longer duration. Okay. Now, this is Gejo, just a second. This is to ensure that from the medium to easy or not short to the comfortable journey is taken care of.
Right.
Right.
So basically, this is because you have not done this work. Therefore, it looks very thing. I think that after the second week, third week, this becomes very smooth. I think. Yeah.
That's right. If you start in July and if you have taken 6-7 papers, by mid-August you will be thorough with each of them, and suddenly you will start finding a larger number of questions in the paper which you can attempt. But for that, it is extremely important that you be willing to give time. Those 5 seconds and leaving questions, 7-second leaving questions not going to be the right approach. Secondly, just because I've done a topic does not mean I have to attempt a question from the topic. It is a question type which is important.
What about GP? What about those students who are like, most of them would have done with most of the portion, but what about, let's say, I still have geometry left, I still have some certain concept left. What do they do?
Gejo, when you go through the solutions, if you go through the solution in the one when you did the questions, you could not solve geometry, no issues at all. Now you'll go through the solutions also. You'll possibly find a few questions which you can solve. Put them into your revision list. Second thing is pick up your funda book, start studying geometry. See, if you don't know anything in geometry, you will not be able to solve the question. Let's be honest about it. Okay.
Correct.
So the only thing you can do is, if there will be question types or topics which you'll say I don't have an idea of, I need to pick up my funda book or I need to wait for the session to happen. My suggestion is, please don't wait for the session to happen in your class. Please pick up your book. Please go to MB on demand in your aspiration account. Go through that topic and you will suddenly find you are able to do a few questions from there also. Okay.
Perfect. So what my addition to already what you've told is, GP, I have got one addition to this. I think that I will add CAT 2017 slot 1, CAT 2017 slot 2 here in this particular week to add CAT 2018, CAT 2019, CAT 2020. So I'm adding those to the list of the test.
All these 9 papers should definitely be taken. They should definitely be. There's no way you can leave these papers.
So the simple thing that we are discussing here, GP, that what we try to discuss is that what we have to do with respect to, or what you have to do with respect to the mock, is to do some very simple things so that your scores improve. Right. Starting point is understanding the gaps. If I don't know what my execution gap is, competition gap is, what am I going to do? So first thing that I must do is to understand my OCAT score. Very important.
Absolutely right.
Second thing is to understand my behavior as to why I have gap. Usually that'll be what you did to get the 0 mark. How many minutes you spent.
That time wastage. In fact, in your PPT, I written that how many? 6 questions, 20 minutes roughly.
17 minutes 21. For the 6 questions. Yeah.
That was a time wastage, which means as an individual, I had only 23 minutes to do the paper. And in that 23 minutes, I was just rushing all over the place. Obviously, I could not do well in the paper.
Yeah, so that is number 2. And then that is behavioral change. If the behavioral change, there'll be gap will get filled. The next most important gap to fill is make all your not sure to get into a comfortable one. That has to happen through repetition, which is through revision. And the story is, that's where it is.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And if the students go to my blog gpkafunda.in, there are a couple of articles which they could look at. One is, are you choosing the right question in mock CATs? and second is things you must do after every mock you take. Okay, we'll share the links in the comments so they can follow those links also. But the gist is going to be what we have discussed today. So I guess, Gejo, that completes the session. It has been a longish session, longer than what I thought we will be doing, but that's fine. Okay, so that's it. So the next session we'll do is let's do one for quant and one for DILR also, and one for verbal.
Yeah, sure. So next we'll do for DLR,
Yeah.
one for verbal, and it'll be. I think that once we do DLR, some of the things we already discussed, so we don't have to
Yes.
talk about too much
Yeah.
about
So
that.
hopefully that will be slightly shorter.
Yeah, I know, and I
Right.
think that people are fine seeing us for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, GP.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
right.
Okay, then thank you very much. All the best, and we'll meet you again in another video, and we'll continue this series.